How do you get rich under the new administration, whether you like them or not? Today, I'm going to go over the 5 or 6 policies that Trump is actually enacting in his new presidency over the next 4 years. I'm going to give you 3 strategies that I'm enacting right now in my business so that you can also do it. Whether you're a W-2, an employee, or just a business owner, it doesn't really matter. These are the things that I would do so you can get FU rich under the new administration. Whenever the country goes too extreme in the right or the left, the average American votes the other party back in. There's this balance between, the right and the left, and most Americans are square right in the middle. However, whether you like the current administration or not, the truth is we have 4 years, and at minimum, we have 2 of those years where the Senate and the House and the presidency are all firmly in the Republican hands. And they've made a bunch of promises, like insane amount of promises. And today I want to go over those promises and the main policies that will affect you. There's 5 policies that I think are really important to your pocketbook and also your ability to grow revenue and grow wealth. The very first one is optimism, and you can see that in the equities market. They're calling it the Trump bump, and also in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has shot up and it's crazy. It just crossed 90,000 per Bitcoin. So the first thing is they're going to pump the system with a lot of optimism, and that's an interesting thing. You want to ride that wave. The second is they vowed to keep taxes low and reduce interest rates. Really big deal if you're going to borrow money or if you're a high income earner, because your tax bracket, really matters. How much you give to the federal government versus how much you keep. The more you can keep, the more employees you can hire, the more basically investments you can make in your own business. So they're relying on reducing interest rates and reducing the tax to spur economic activity. And it's a big deal. You need to think through how you can use this and leverage it to help you grow your revenue and grow your wealth. The next is lending. Commercial lending over the last 4 years has been dismal. In fact, you can see that in the commercial mortgage-backed security market that is almost non-existent, and also in our treasury market, where the majority of the treasuries that the government prints, they end up buying themselves, which is really interesting. So I'd be watching the commercial lending environment, both of your regional banks and the national banks, because that opening up of that is going to be a big deal for an entrepreneur and really for even the average consumers, because if more and more loans are available and there's optimism and there's a reduction in interest rates, that means opportunity even for the average American. The next one's what's really exciting is oil and natural gas, opening those markets up, unlocking a bunch of supply side opportunities for the U.S. market. Now, right now, the majority of the oil that we use in making our products and services comes from overseas. What happens is if you pay $100 for a barrel of oil and that $100 leaves and goes to another country, it's not in our system. So there's not any velocity to it. Versus if the oil or gas company is here in the U.S., and one person pays another person $100, that $100 goes into a bank account in our system. So that's a really big deal for the velocity of money and the churning of money inside of our own economy. And if the current administration is successful in unlocking a lot of supply side oil and natural gas, that'll be a big deal for our economy. We'll keep more of our money here. The fifth, and probably the most important, and this is a really big deal, is keeping inflation low. And their intention right now is to cut spending at the federal government level, reduce or eliminate regulation, and to create this DOGE, the Department of Office of Efficiency through the government, which is actually a really interesting thing because nobody's ever done that before. So if they can do these things, these 5 different policies, it can be a big deal for you, the average consumer, business owner, leader, high income earner in the US. Now, I think there's 3 strategies that you have to employ right now. To fight against inflation, leverage is your best tool. So number 1, getting a lot of good debt, not bad debt. Like I don't want you out there buying cars or racking up credit card debt, but buying income producing businesses, income producing real estate, whether it's apartments, homes, doesn't even matter. Short-term rentals, long-term rentals, I don't care. But getting debt to buy businesses and real estate is the most important thing you can do now to protect yourself against inflation. Even if you're an average US consumer and you have a W-2 job, this is the moment to kind of safeguard yourself against inflation. The next thing is AI is coming, and right here up on the chart, there's this wild adoption rate, and there's just this J curve that's going straight up. So if you're an entrepreneur, high net worth individual, or even just a kid in school, I think it's really important. This technology is gonna change the way we do business, the way we do life. I had a friend, funny enough, they're like, yeah, I Googled on ChatGPT, and I bet you that the Google people are, they're churning over in their graves going, we don't want that. But really funny perspective, I Googled ChatGPT and here's what it said. And I think more and more people are gonna start to adopt AI in their everyday, kind of world. And so it's really important that you, as an owner, as a business person or entrepreneur, really get into that thinking. The other thing is Tiger 21 is this network of business owners and high net worth individuals who have a $20 million or better net worth. And what's interesting about that is they put out this quarterly survey of their asset allocation. So all the members fill out this form and they tell you where they have all their investments. And over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of high worth individuals have more than 10% of their net worth in cash or cash equivalents. And that is because in this new world, you need to be ready with your cash to take advantage of opportunities, which is really interesting. And why does that matter? Because a couple years ago, Grubhub, and this is kind of a side note, Grubhub was valued at $7 billion. And just this week, it transacted for $650 million, a 90% reduction of valuation. So that's an opportunity for the buyers, right? Because they got a 90% discount, and that multiple has so significantly changed. So I think this is an important point too. These are all my assumptions about what I think is going to happen based on the policies that they've promised. What you want to do is pay attention to the multiples and the IPO and the M&A markets, meaning IPOs have been dismal over the last couple of years. And really, they've been depressed by interest rates and inflation and this lack of optimism in the market. So I think a place for you to pay attention and to make sure that these promises are actually going the way that the American people hope they do is if you see the IPO market fire back up, if you start seeing more and more M&A deals that are realistic, and if the multiples, the price to earning multiples are going in a better direction, then you're gonna, that's how you know these policies are working. The other thing is watch Fed spending as relative to state spending. Really important part of the federal government's mandate is whenever there's a natural disaster, whenever there's a fire, a flood, an earthquake, or something that happens, the federal government through FEMA comes in and foots the bill for 75%. California, the state that I live in, is actually owed a bunch of money right now, and the current administration is promising to not send that money. So I think we're going to see a lot of feuding between the federal and state government. So a place of risk is if your checkbook comes from federal or state spending in any way, whether you're an employee, like one of the 3 million federal employees across the US, or if you're a contractor or a business in an area that relies on state or federal spending, that's a really big deal. If you're in DC, if you're in Sacramento, if you're in any of those major government markets, I would be watching out for that kind of safeguard. But these are the things I think that if you can focus on and really pay attention to, you can really transform your income and net worth and your business results over the next 4 years. All right, we just went over everything, the 5 policies, the 3 things that you need to focus on and to win, and also the things to watch over the next couple of years to make sure that this is actually going the way we hope it does. Now, how do you get rich in this world? Number 1, you've got to get your finances straight, meaning I meet a lot of entrepreneurs all the time, and I'm looking at their financials, and the great ones have reoccurring financials that come out every 2 weeks, every month, every quarter, both personally, all their investments, all their businesses. So get your finances in order. Be on a budget personally, be on a budget for your business, and really get in line with how much cash your business and investments are making. Number 2, build up a cash reserve. 10% is a minimum. I would go even higher. Get ready for the opportunities that may come your way. Number 3, prep with your lenders. Get those lenders in line right now. Have them see your financials, get in relationship with them, get them pre-approved. Get your financials pre-approved so that when there is opportunity, you can pounce and move quickly. These are the 3 things that if I were you, I would do right now so you can get rich in today's administration.